pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you so much again for a beautiful day that you've given us, Lord. I thank you for just the sunshine and the wind today. It's felt really nice. I thank you for this great country that we live in, Lord, and I pray that you'll just help us as we move forward. All the things that are going on in our nation, different things, Lord, I know what the answer is, and that's Jesus. And I pray, Lord, that you'll just have your way in every city, every little county, every country across this land. And Lord, that you would just help and lead and guide people to you. Help us to never forget that there's evil out there, and when we say they sometimes and this and that, it all boils down to Satan. Satan's just there trying to tear the world apart. Right now it's stronger than ever, trying to separate everybody over every little thing, every little disagreement that we can have. Satan's just trying to separate us out and to get us to disagree with and to hate one another. But Lord, that's not what you called us to do. And I hope and pray that you always remind us of that, remind me of that. I try to do that. Sometimes I get a little emotional and things when I speak, but different things, Lord, I never try to walk away mad from anything that we do. And I pray that you'll show us all that, Lord, and we'll all practice that. And it's all right to show a little emotion, but always show the love of Christ, Lord, throughout our lives. And I pray that you'll just be with our nation. You'll be with the decision that we make tonight, Lord. And other school systems around our Upper East Tennessee are making too, Lord, as they start to send kids back to school. And I just pray for your hand of protection, most of all, upon our teachers and staff and janitors, bus drivers, and our kids, Lord. And I pray that that you'll just bless it, and you'll put a hedge of protection around all these people as they return back to work and do different things. Thank you for all that you give us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you. Okay. Again, welcome to the board meeting. This is our call board meeting. I'm glad Nathan started out that way. We all do. And I guess, I'm sure all the board members did. I want to go ahead and thank those out for everybody that sends text and emails and everything, wishing us, praying for the board and if we make our decision tonight. And I'm sure all of us have received something like that. So on behalf of the board, I'd like to say thank you for everyone that's reached out to us. Just to let you know it's a big decision, and I promise you none of the board members took it lightly on the decision we'll talk about and vote on. We're going to start with new business, and what we're going to do first is approve waiving the first 9 weeks of interim reports, and Dr. Wallen is going to present that to us.
Basically, we are just asking each 9 weeks we send out report cards, and at the 4.5-week mark we send out an interim report. And this year, because of the delayed starting of school, we started 7 or 8 days later than we initially anticipated. So that 4.5 weeks has been made much shorter because of the change in the calendar. And then also because of this new world of technology and the virtual learning we've been doing, there's been a lot of assignments that sometimes are getting uploaded and not completed, or not uploaded correctly. They complete the assignments, don't get them in. So we know that teachers need a little more time to help students get that work turned in. We also know that with Skyward and Parent Access, parents have more access to grades than they've ever had before, and they're seeing those through Canvas and through Skyward and the Google Classroom. So we feel like that this 9 weeks, if we could just waive not sending out the interim reports to give students a chance to get caught up on some of the things they've had some trouble submitting, and give them a chance to get back in the groove, then the 9 weeks report will be much more accurate representation of what they've actually learned this 9 weeks, as opposed to right now, which may be some technology issues in the process that may be interfering with the reports that we would try to send home under these circumstances.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Dr. Wallen?
Well, Christy, they are seeing you Skyward and all that stuff. They are able to see, like,
They can see individual grades on assignment,
Yeah,
so they're
good.
keeping up with kind of what the students have been doing. They can
That's
keep
good,
up with
because
that
it also
anyway.
helps them too. If you got one that's not logged on, hadn't done anything, then they know if they got a 0,
Exactly.
then they can at least ask about it and then try to,
Right.
get that corrected.
Right.
Any further questions or comments for Christy?
did talk to a high school principal this week, and he said that there are many high school students that haven't turned in the first assignment at his school,
Right,
200 or so.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're probably all of us getting those comments from the principals that they're struggling with getting the kids to do their assignments or even log on.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of the parents saying the kids are trying to upload it and it's not going.
Yes, and we've heard quite a bit of that as
Yeah.
well, so that was one of the concerns we had.
Good, good.
Yeah, I know
I've
just-
had a lot of complaints that way too.
Just like what Clark said too, I had a high school principal the very first week tell me the same thing, it's either 75 or 95, and they were on the phone that next week, just trying to touch base with all of them, and they told me that, there was 95 students or 75, whatever she told me there, that had missed a whole complete class that week, and then she said some of those didn't even log on, didn't even do one class the whole week, so, yeah, I know it's been a struggle, but, but now, it did get better the second week, so.
Okay, any further questions, comments? Thank you, Chris. Do I have a motion to waive the first 9 weeks interim reports?
So moved.
I got Brian and Michelle.
There you go. Muffled man, that's all
Second.
Gosh.
Wow.
Thank you, Tom.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. That last one scared me.
I'm telling you.
Okay, next up is discussion and possible vote on amending the framework for returning to school document. I know Mr. McLean is going to discuss a couple of them with us, but if the board will indulge me, once he gets finished, I may have a little comment or something I'd like to propose to the board also to consider when we think about opening the schools back up. So, Mr. McLean, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, and I'll just sit here, I guess, where I can speak to the microphone here, but, this, framework for returning to school, of course, we had this at the start of the year. There was a metric put in there and basically a green, a yellow, and the red. And basically, the red put us in a, there's a continuous learning plan that we have to turn in, but the red put us basically in 100% virtual. I know the board as well as staff here in schools, in reference to the red and numbers in our county, we're still in the red. And I think we're all aware of that, but we also, many people are desiring and pushing for us to get kids back in school like other districts are that use the same metrics that we did. So I did do a call out a week ago, I guess Sunday night, to parents, and I said, I would be presenting a hybrid model plan. This is a plan that presently Sullivan County is using. I did give you a copy that you have on at your desk there. The only difference in this copy and the one I emailed you yesterday is it has a title on it, and the very last page, the vulnerable groups, has changed a little bit. That's the only difference in this document that you got by email yesterday, okay? It's the title, which says AABB Hybrid Plan for All Students, and the very last page that's dealing with vulnerable students, okay? Within this plan, if you turn to page 8, all students are operating under the continuous learning plan. Students will attend, this is all students in pre-K through 12th grade, as well as EOP. Students will attend on an A-B schedule with Group A in the buildings on Monday and Tuesday, and Group B in the buildings on Thursday and Friday. Students will attend for a full day for some vulnerable populations, and that's defined in the last page. That may include instruction in the building Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at the discretion of the principal. So if you have Nathan not completing his work or he's having issues, that's the discretion of the principal to bring Nathan in then every day that week as opposed to just Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, okay? Certified and classified staff will be present in the school building during regular school hours required to observe social distancing protocols. So, once again, that's the AABB hybrid plan for all students. where they'll be attending on Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday, okay? That's the first option that I've given you. Then I know last Thursday night, I was informed that I needed to have another option, so I started speaking to principals. I know we did adopt critical infrastructure, so I started asking principals if we could utilize social distancing with all kids brought back into the buildings. Within that research, I discovered that we can do that in pre-K through 8th. You guys gave me some flexibility of around, I guess it was $670,000 with addition of new teachers or the MiFis. That plan will cost us about $330,000 because we're going to have to hire several aides. We're going to have to pay some stipends, and I think we're going to add two teachers within that plan. I think one at Bayleton and I think one at Chucky. Okay, now that plan is the other paper. It says pre-K through 8th, Monday through Friday plan, and the 9-12 AABB hybrid plan. You may say, well, why would grades 9 through 12 be on a hybrid plan? Here's the reason why. When we started trying to run numbers in reference to social distancing, we've discovered we're really going to have some issues in doing it at 3 of our 4 high schools, especially at Chucky Doak, South Greene, and West Greene. North Greene is able to do it. The question may be, well, why don't you just hire more teachers? The issue there, and you can, if Tommy's teaching, let's say, physical science, and now not only are we looking at teacher-student ratio in bricks and mortar that the state sets for us, we're also looking at size of classrooms. So if Tommy's teaching physical science and he may have, let's say his room has a capacity for 20 kids, he may first period have 10, second period 18, third period 28. So he's 8 over in third period. So those kids have to be taught somewhere. So what you would have to do there is hire an extra teacher to do that. The issue is basically at those 3 high schools, you have a number of teachers that falls in that. So could you not take the 8 kids and reschedule those 8 kids? Well, you could, but what that could possibly do is raise you somewhere else. You're going to fix an issue here that's going to cause a problem here. So that's the issue in the 3 high schools. Certainly we can look at that more, but right now I feel comfortable to tell you, I do feel like in the classroom, in the school, in reference to pre-K through 8th, in this plan, it does send kids back every day. And then the high schools are on a hybrid model. So those are the 2 plans I'm sharing with you tonight. One is the AABB hybrid plan for all students. That's where the student would go Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday, Friday. And the last plan is the pre-K through 8th, Monday through Friday plan, and then the 9-12 would be on an AABB hybrid plan at the high school level, okay? So those are the 2 plans that I'm presenting tonight.
David, do you feel that if we start up, there under, the AABB plan and the high school kids are back in there, all 4 of our high school kids are back in there, do you think if once they get back and and the principals kind of look at things, see exactly kind of where the kids and stuff are at, do you think it might help, with maybe in a couple of weeks helping maybe try to solve an issue to get those other 3 high schools back in, once the kids are there and they kind of see what's going on, or no?
I think the issue, Nathan, is you're dealing with so many. Ideally, in high school, those teachers are teaching bricks and mortar and virtual. The ideal situation is if you have a classroom with a capacity of being able to offer social distancing with 20 kids, and you have 25 kids on your complete roster or roll there. If you had 5 kids go virtual and 20 bricks and mortar, that's ideal if it would work that way. The issue in this whole process is one, many of our classrooms in reference to square footage is different. You have some that could have a capacity of 12 and the other one at 20 in reference to social distancing. And then the idea of it falling perfect in reference to kids going virtual. So I will say this, I mean, we can look at the high school, those three in particular, and see what we can do. But I'll be honest with you, we've looked at it pretty hard. And you know, I've talked to Tim and Lori and Steve All, and I think we can continue to look at it to try to make it work. But right now, it's gonna be a big challenge to get that done.
Well, let me throw this out a little bit, and I've looked at both of these plans, and I know the board as a whole, because we've been copied in the same emails, and everything from both sides. So, you know, I was thinking about it, I was gonna throw this out to the board and see kind of what everybody thought. You know, we all like a little bit of aspects of AB, and we all like a little bit of the other. This is my suggestion, and see what y'all think, is that we start AB hybrid, but we have a date that we're going to open the doors. I think it accomplished two things in my mind. Central office and teachers have a date, and parents have a date that they know something's gonna happen. If we go AB to start with, we could, you know, if we set a date, you start AB on the 10th, on the 28th, if nothing big catastrophes happen, we're gonna open the doors. Here's what I hope that we can accomplish in those 2.5 weeks, is that we start kids into AABB. We take the time as administrators and teachers to teach them the rules about the mask, about which way you need to go down the halls, you know, all the different things. Some of these kids that we're talking about bringing back has not been in bricks and mortar yet, okay? So I thought we'd take a little time, we acclimate them to the rules, the teachers get used to more kids coming in and all that. And we could do that. Now, one of the things we got to do, and the public has got to help us too with this, it's got to help central office and teachers, administrators, is that you got to make sure your kids understand, the children, the students understand the rules, and that we got to follow them to get your students, your kids, back into school. That's the only way we can accomplish that as a whole for this school, for this district, for this board to do what you guys want us to do. And I promise you, this whole board and all the teachers and everybody in the central office, everyone wants these kids back in school. I've talked to teachers and everybody, they got to have the kids back in, but we want to do it safely. So what we do is we take the 2.5 weeks, we bring them in AABB, we acclimate them. And then on the 24th, we have a regular meeting, so we don't have any more of these called meetings and everybody trying to guess what we're gonna do every week. On the 24th, Mr. McLean, that's when if there's something wrong or something, you come in and tell us again that you can't social distance 3 or 4 schools, and there's no way, then I would suggest you come back in as a central office, you tell the board that there's no way, and then we'll decide whether, then we'll know what's gonna happen on the 28th. But otherwise, I think everybody needs to know kind of what we're doing, and on the 28th, if we have no problems and we can social distance and we can take care of all we can, then I think we ought to open schools. Now, I do know, and I would suggest too, that if 2 are not able to social distancing, I don't want to preclude the other schools from opening up. I don't think that's fair to them. But I'm hoping if we have this extra time to kind of get everybody used to it, look at everything without rushing, make sure we get the social distancing down, we get teachers feel a little better about it, and give them a little more time, that I think it'll really help us. I think that'll keep us from jumping in with all 4 feet or all 2 feet and then having to back up. I think this way, I'm hoping that it shows everyone that the board is wanting to get the kids back, but we want to, get into the 3-foot end of the pool and work our way into the deep end. But that way, it might give everybody a chance to get ready for this. I do know one thing that bothers me a little bit about the AABB. It does put a lot of work on the teachers because they're having to do the virtual plus, and I really don't want to make them be in that as any longer than we have to, because it is.
But don't we have teachers that are strictly just virtual? They're not gonna have those students come in,
Can I answer that, Mr. Tipton? Rick?
Yeah,
Okay.
unless your answer to me is different, but yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry, you can go ahead now.
No, I
Okay,
mean, I
okay.
hope we're on the same page.
Yeah, Michelle, in the hybrid plan, you're just having kids half the time, okay? And Bill, you and Christie jump in here. This is going to put some extra burden. Let's utilize pre-K through fifth. Basically, in the pre-K through fifth grade, we have virtual teachers, and then we have bricks and mortar teachers, okay? But if you're on the hybrid plan, if Michelle is teaching first grade, okay, and you've got 20 kids and you're a bricks and mortar teacher, okay, so you're only gonna have 10 of those kids on Monday, Tuesday, 10 of those kids on Thursday, Friday. You still got to provide instruction for those kids the other 3 days. So on Wednesday, you're gonna be complete virtual, okay? But on Monday, Tuesday, you got these 10, you're gonna have to teach these other 10 as well. So yes, that is gonna be more challenging for pre-K through fifth grade teachers. Now, as we're doing it now, they're all virtual. Now, if we all were coming back bricks and mortar, then yes, you have a bricks and mortar teacher and you have a virtual teacher in the pre-K through fifth grade world. Basically, in the sixth through eighth grade world, you have they're doing both bricks and mortar and they're doing virtual. But we've built into the system basically a virtual period for them to do that. In high school 9 through 12, that's why we like having Wednesday. It gives teachers an opportunity to do complete virtual because they're doing both pieces in 9 through 12 with Canvas where they're more familiar with it. So Bill, did I say that correctly, you and Christie? Okay.
So I guess my question then is, will this help us if we take the time to kind of get used to it, but the teachers know and the parents know that eventually we're going to get to the part where it's not going to be as bad, you're not doing both, that when we get a chance to go bricks and mortar, then we're to what Michelle's saying. One of the other things for the public or for the parents out there, and the only thing that this is gonna help us accomplish this is, we need the parents' help, but also, I'm gonna ask you, if you're able to, in this passage, and you're capable of doing, we need your help. If you can take your children and students to the school and then pick them up, if you're able, it would help us with the bus situation and making sure everyone is reasonably safe on the buses. So, I promise you, we don't take any of this lightly. We're trying to cover all the bases. And the teachers are working their hiney off to make sure your students and children are educated. And they like to have it. Listen, if they're in bricks and mortar totally, it's easier on them. They don't have to fool with the virtual piece. So I promise you, they're eager to get them back too. But we need to keep everybody safe. So I'm gonna hush. That's kind of where I'm at. I thought if we kind of ease into it, we could maybe have a peek. But I think what I'm trying to get is that we have a date. I like for us to have a date.
Something to shoot for.
Something to shoot for, because I think the public and central office, and I can see where the frustration of the teachers coming is because, we talk about it, we change a little thing, then we come back, then we change again. And I think if we have a certain day that we're gonna do some stuff, then the central office will know what we're talking about. They're not guessing what the body is talking about. So,
I guess there's
I'm
two
gonna hush
things.
us.
There will be a little bit of rush that'll be necessary because we're talking about the time between
Sure.
the 10th and the 28th.
Yes.
And what I would expect is, that 28 is, in my mind, is a solid date.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
gonna happen. If you have issues at certain schools or whatever, I would hope we would be able to identify that well before the 28th.
No, I'm asking them to tell us on
And
the
be able to
24th.
try to brainstorm and solve that issue so that we can
Yeah.
still do the 28th.
Yeah.
Not that, well,
No,
we
that's right.
tried, we couldn't do it.
That's
No. Yeah.
Just try to
Yeah.
get it done. And
Because once you all talk about it and work it out, then the 24th is when you need it alone. Because I'm hoping, if say North Greene goes and South Greene does it, that when you make a call to the parents on Friday, they know what's happened. You see, does that make sense?
Yeah, but I wanna,
We don't need
yeah.
to wait to the 24th. You kind of need it. I would ask, I'm sure the board sounds like, we're asking central office by the 24th, you kind of know, you work it out or you don't work it out, but don't wait on us to help you work it out on the
Yes. But I want to clarify though too, Brian, just, to- you know, we're gonna have to dig in and look harder, especially at those 3 high schools to make it work, because the numbers are just, it's very difficult. Bill, I don't know if you want to comment as well, but
Yeah, I mean, we have taken a really good look at it, and the classes scheduled for this fall, you know, can't make it work currently at those 3 high schools. Now, of course, second semester, maybe, you know, the classes would be different if we want to try to look that far ahead. But I don't know what we could do in the time between now and the 28th to figure it out at those 3 high schools that we haven't already taken a look at.
Sure.
When we've worked really hard, it's just,
yeah, and I feel free, you know, you guys feel free too, to please reach out to Mr. Shelton, Ms. Wilhoit, and Mr. Broyles too. You know, if you, and because that's who we're leaning on. I mean, they're there every day, they know the student schedule. So, you know, feel free to communicate with them. It's just that those 3 schools, and I'll be honest with you, when I started this process, I thought it would be easier at the high school to do it than at the pre-K through 5th. What's allowed us to do this at the pre-K through 5th grade, and I'll just be honest with you, we have a lot of virtual teachers in the pre-K through 5th grade world, so that opened up a lot of capacity in those schools to move kids around into those open classrooms.
But I think too, and I'm sure everybody's heard it from the high school principals, even elementary, these high school principals are struggling to make sure, and that's another thing for parents that's out there in the cyber world, that we have a lot of high school students that not logging on and doing their stuff. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's gotta crack down on them, because I know every high school principal has personally called or visited their house to say, your child is not, and I guess that's the reason I'm eager to see. I know you've looked at everything, Bill, and I'm not saying you're not, but you can see maybe the urgency there too, to make sure if we can get the high schools in too.
We will continue to look, Rick, we will.
Now, didn't we have, I mean, I know I mentioned the bill, and the big question is our biggest problem at the high school level, is it the teacher or is it an extra room? I guess it's the teacher, right? Not having the teacher to teach those extra.
it's the size of the room and how many kids are trying to put in them, and we can't solve it by hiring a teacher.
And that's what I'm saying, but we can't solve it by even an extra, the portable or nothing outside either, right, Bill? Because,
No, I mean, no, and you know, they
And how-
might even have space at a building for it, but.
you need the teacher.
In high school,
In
they
the
gotta be
K-6
subject.
world, you can find
Subject.
people with those
The teacher has to be
certifications.
subject.
He said the
Okay.
big word, certification's the big word,
Yeah.
if you're finding.
That's what Clark is saying, it's gotta be specific, teacher
Yeah.
specific, that you can't really.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hard to find a math teacher in May, let alone in September.
Yeah, that's
Middle
what
and
you,
high school level.
that's what you was telling me the other day too, yeah. Another question is, and I just happened to think about it because I've been getting these emails through the school system, and I just deleted it, but it was one of those things where they're selling those little low glass partition things, or just like a piece of plexiglass. If that is utilized in a room, do you still have to follow the 3-foot separation? Does anybody know the answer to that?
Question.
It's a good
So,
question.
I mean-
We have had questions about the fire marshal and those partitions.
Yeah.
You know, we've had issues brought up about how we've got to watch about with the fire marshal and the rules on how you can set them up.
Yeah.
We've not explored that particular.
So I mean, I just seen that and I thought, well, I know some schools are doing that, and I thought, well, if you got that in between, because it's, the kids are sitting here at the desk and it's that high, and it basically serves as just a partition in between them. And so could that be something possibly we could, spend some money on and make happen, something temporary, I don't know. That, and one more thing is too, is,
Nathan, I want you to know that we have looked at those petitions. Me and Ellen's been back and forth on that.
Yeah.
Actually, with DTR a little bit, and so that's been discussed, correct,
so I mean,
Ellen?
I don't know, I just wondered, David, the other thing is too, is you all find out, you all have to make the call to find out. But, I know we talked a little bit, and I know, like Clark said, Knox maybe not having the best thing, but did they, when they went back or whatever, and everybody's in there, are they following any kind of, what did they do? They not following
Yeah,
guidelines, or?
I'm speculating a little, they did not do critical infrastructure.
Yeah, you told me that.
So then they're not gonna rely on any support from the health department. So they may just be doing what they want regarding and
Yeah.
disregarding those guidelines.
Yeah,
because
and-
they don't have any help from the health department, and I think they're having a problem now staffing their class.
Yeah.
In yesterday's paper, it says Knoxville may have to close down because we don't have enough substitute teachers.
And then here's another question, find out from Cotton County too. I did hear that Cotton County just happened to, somehow he just run across me yesterday, the the Cotton County maintenance director. And then he said his wife taught school, and when this happened, how are you all doing schools? He said, well, we've been open ever since, back in August. We did the ABA, that schedule ever since. So they've been doing that. But he said, we're getting ready to have a meeting, I think he said on the 18th or something. He said about the middle of this month, he said, we're probably sending everybody back. So, to question them, how are they going, or they just don't have as many people, can they make?
I'll just be honest with you, Nate, I think they're kind of ignoring it in a lot of places.
Okay,
social
and
distance.
so, that basically boils down to us at a certain point in time, after we get in school on an AABB schedule, and everything seems to be going halfway decent, well, we're gonna have to make a decision, we're gonna drop this stuff, and if it seems like it's going halfway decent. Tommy, if it seems like it's going, you have to listen to what I'm saying, Tommy.
Well, I'm trying to listen, but I can't listen to
Just,
where you just forget about the safety issue.
well, just like what Cotton County is considering, Tommy, they've been in for 4 weeks now, and he said they've had very little issues. So they may make that decision if, now I didn't know.
Well, they could make that decision. Doc
So,
County.
yeah.
But I can't make it, me personally, I'm just one board member, will not make it in Greene County.
Right, absolutely, I understand that.
Yeah, and Tommy.
And that's your decision, Tommy, so.
That's one of the things we were gonna do on the 24th, that's what we're asking the central office, come back and say, such and such, can you do it, but North Greene can, well, North Greene needs to,
Yeah.
safely,
Yeah.
safely.
And then maybe we go another month, Tommy, on the AABB
Yeah.
schedule, or something, but then, after another month and things, if we're still going halfway decent, I think we have to look at
Yes,
things,
Nathan,
look at something different,
I've got, sorry and I'm not saying I didn't like the 2 plans that central offices worked hard on. Don't take it that way, I'm not.
You
I
told
have
me
a
that.
question.
Well,
Where did the 3 foot come from?
Minnie, that's 3 to 6 feet in your critical infrastructure that was voted on at the last board meeting when we adopted critical infrastructure.
But did we get that from the state, or is that something we just?
Department of
did?
Health, yes.
Department of Health Department lowered it to 3
It's
feet.
Yeah.
also, it's also in the American Academy of Pediatrics, that's also something that they've listed in their guidelines for return to school.
So are we
Sometime
gonna be able to do that at Chucky Doak Middle School?
The 3 feet, yes, ma'am, we can do it, Minnie, yes.
The 3 feet?
We've got to make some adjustments, but we can do it, yes. We can do that at Chucky Doak Middle School. Now, like I said, Chucky Doak High School, South Greene High School, West Greene, right now, we're struggling to be able to say we can do that.
okay, so we have 3 plans here, and I guess.
Well,
we got
Can I
one.
make a motion?
Sure, you make a motion.
Well, I would like to make a motion there, Rick, that we go with your kind of hybrid of the 2 plans, and start back up, AABB, in all of our schools, starting on the 10th, I think Mr.
Yes,
McLean
sir.
said, starting on the 10th. And central office is gonna be looking at everything else, and hopefully, if we don't get any bad news and stuff, and if they can come back to us and maybe get at least one more high school back, whatever, we'll try to maybe start and get all the kids back in, if everything goes well, on the 28th, after our 24th board meeting.
This weekend probably will have a big bearing on the future.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
And another question, what's the criteria for not changing this on the 24th?
what's,
I mean-
what, I'm sorry.
What's the criteria for not changing this on the 24th?
Well, the only reason not to, let's see, let me make sure.
Because we're already in the red, so,
Right, but.
Would just be if they tell us that they still can't get they haven't come up with any solution at all on either high schools, or, they still can't do it safely, then we'll continue just with the AABB until we.
what happens if we have an outbreak?
Well, it's gonna happen.
At a school?
Well,
Yeah.
Then we're gonna let the health department kinda, just the same as what our plan says, they're gonna come in and look at it, and, and if we have to shut down a class or have to shut down that one, we're gonna,
We will.
do that, just like what we always
Yeah,
said.
absolutely.
But hopefully not shut down the whole county,
I don't think
you know?
we're gonna have 0 cases. I
And
don't
the
think that's
answer,
possible.
the
Yeah, it's
answer
like
to
what-
your question
I don't
is,
think
we're
we
gonna
can have
follow the
0.
guidelines,
There's gonna be, at the very least, 1. I mean,
but not just.
But we
yeah,
gotta
something's
deal with
gonna
it when
happen,
it
yeah.
comes.
We're gonna, if something happens, we're gonna do the I'm shocked, I got a text from somebody said they couldn't hear me, but anyway, I'm pretty loud. But yes,
Somebody
Edie,
needs to
yes,
have their ears checked.
yeah. I do want us to look at it, if we do pass this variation plan I've got here, that we do, and say that, South Green Middle, if something happens, we have to shut a class down or two, or whatever, I don't want it to punish the whole district. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want us to come in here and say, well, we're gonna back everybody up.
No. And Rick too, I don't know how accurate this is. I just got a text too from somebody said that WJHL just now stated, changed the numbers today, that we have 140 active cases. We can't be in the red anymore. I don't know if that's right or not, but anyway, we'll have to look into it and see, but.
That'd be almost a miracle.
Yeah, I don't know how, but anyway, that's what the text said, so we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah,
What did it say,
okay.
Nathan?
Send it WJHL reports, we just had 140 active cases now. So, I don't know what that is, Tommy, but we'll look into it and find out.
Okay, Nathan, I'm gonna let you finish have you finished?
I think so, I think I stated everything in there,
Okay.
I believe.
Let me restate this so we can know what we're voting on. So we're voting you're making a motion to approve the plan that we start with AABB on the 10th, and that we follow that plan until the 28th, and on the 28th, we're opening up the schools for those schools that can practice the safety, social distancing and all. And we plan on opening the schools on the 28th, all of them, unless we come back on the 24th, and central office tells us 3 high schools and 1 middle school or whatever,
Or the health department.
or the health
Can't be
department,
done
whoever, gives us a reason why we can't open.
Right. Yes.
But we're not precluding the other schools, if they can social distancing safely, to open up. Is that the motion?
Yes.
Okay,
Ricky?
yes.
Uh,
Let me get a second, then we'll talk about it.
Second.
Yes, sir.
Second, I got a second from Brian. Okay, go ahead, sir.
This AABB, how are these teachers that because the kids out on virtual are gonna be out, they're gonna be out on virtual.
Yes,
And these kids are gonna be in class all day, right?
that's correct. For at least two
Well, how's
weeks.
these teachers gonna teach these kids all day and then also teach the kids virtual?
I
Well,
think David addressed that just a.
I'm hoping that
Is that what you said on Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday,
Yeah, they'll be doing the virtual piece, but Tommy, here's if we're doing the AABB,
Yeah.
first of all, the kids in bricks and mortar that's supposed to come back will be cut in half. So if you got 20 kids on your roll or roster, you're splitting that, you'll have 10 on Monday, Tuesday, 10 on Thursday, Friday, then they're all virtual on Wednesday. But you are still held accountable to teach those kids, so it is a challenge for pre-K through 5th grade teachers. Yes, it's a challenge for, our high school teachers that are doing both pieces. So those are all hard situations. So that's just the alternative, the balance. You're getting a small group in front of you, or, you go full-time and then you're just complete virtual or you're complete bricks and mortar, So, but with the AABB, that's gonna be a big challenge for pre-K through 5th. We've already been doing that in pre-K through 2nd already, because those kids have already been coming into school under a vulnerable population. So those teachers have already been doing that. And we know they've worked hard at that, and we appreciate what they've done.
Well, I had 2 things whenever you were talking about this. One was and I already said that I don't think we're gonna be perfect and have 0 cases.
oh no, we
But-
won't have.
From what I remember from when we first started talking about this, is you had a plan in place with the health department about looking at clusters and stuff like that, and not shutting down an entire school or system over one.
Yeah, so Michelle, you may have to shut down a whole school, I'm gonna say that, but you can shut down a whole classroom. You just do contact tracing, and those kids may have to be quarantined for 14 days, and we've already been doing virtual for 3 weeks, so those kids would just go back on that continuous learning plan of virtual while they're being quarantined.
And my only other concern would be how flexible central office would be to parents that might change their mind once
Well,
we
and
start this
that's a good-
hybrid and
and
they
I
say,
think-
never mind.
I think Bill and I have discussed that the other day, and we think we'll have to be. He's already got a plan. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I think if we look at the language we put in the goal handbook, it does state in there that we're gonna show preference to switches at the 9 weeks. And we're also telling them that they can make application to come back or to go out. So we're gonna try to accommodate everybody that wants to move. We might not just be able to do it right at that moment.
Right, gotcha.
But Michelle, let me clarify something though. You know, the state does regulate teacher-student ratio. So,
In virtual also?
yes, in both pieces, yes ma'am. Virtual and bricks and mortar. So
Is it the same
they've
number?
increased it 25% in virtual. So basically in 7 through 12, in reference to bricks and mortar, your max can be 35, the average 30, I guess. Pre-K through second or third, Bill, help me, the max is 25 and the average is 20.
So if I'm a
But-
4th grade teacher, I shouldn't have 40 kids?
No, you can't, but now
As a
the
virtual
virtual
teacher.
piece, they increased it 25%, okay? So you can go 25% above 25, okay? Or at the high school level, now I'm just gonna give an example because we've been working with 6th grade. You can go 25% above 30. So that allows us to give about 38 kids in the virtual program for 6th grade. But let's remember though, if you have Nathan though that transfers into your virtual program, that gives you 39, guess what we've got to hire then?
Another virtual teacher?
Another teacher, yeah, and that's what makes it so challenging and hard. And that may be a case where if somebody's in bricks and mortar and they wanna go virtual, we might say, well,
We can't.
right now we can't. That's why we've got you on you've applied and we may have to put you on hold for just a little while till we can find some flexibility to put you in there.
And with this plan you're proposing tonight, because we're spacing them out of the room, somebody wanting to jump back in will potentially be a problem as well.
Could throw a
Because
wrench in it.
to be
You have
honest,
to
guys, you know, a
recalculate.
lot of these rooms where we're social distancing, you know, we've got as many in there as we can in social distancing.
And I think that's the reason we have to be careful, because when we start this and we get it where we can open up, we can social distance anything, that's the reason we have to let them at least apply, but we need to be cautious, because that one may cause us, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
I just want the flexibility.
Yeah.
and
Rick,
all the open-
Yeah, I want to make another comment too. And guys, you know, on the hybrid plan, if you've got, I know George is here, you got 60 kids on a bus, you're going to cut those bus riders in half. And Rick, I know you've done addressed that, but when you go full-fledged and we've got kids on those buses, I will say this, I did ask Steve Barnett in Johnson City and Jeff Morehouse in Kingsport and Annette Tudor in Bristol, because they're going 100% in right now in pre-K through at their elementary. Some are pre-K through 6th, some are pre-K through 5th. But they did tell me they are seeing less bus riders through this in their system. But I do want you to know on the 28th, if we go back, those buses will be similar to those 3 high schools right now. That'll be an obstacle within itself.
and I think that's the reason, of course, this plan's not passed yet, but that's the reason I was trying to emphasize to the parents that everybody wants your kids back. I'm just trying to emphasize, if you have the capability to do that, that helps us out tremendously with what we're doing. And that helps out Mr. Fry and the bus drivers and keeping the buses safe, and it just helps everybody. So
How early can they have, like a parent bring their school out? How early can they bring their kid and drop them off?
Brian, generally it's about 7:15 they'll open the doors.
See, that creates problem. People have to be at work at 6.
yeah, and then those are the ones.
But like Rick, but some of them may be able to help though, and if they can, that'd be good,
Listen,
you know.
because we want to make sure we keep the buses running.
There's probably 25 or better percent every day brings some kids.
Yeah.
I'd say
Now,
more.
Yeah, I'd say who. a
But
lot.
then we do have, right, what Brian is saying though, we do have some parents that go in really early, and we need to make sure we accommodate them with the bus if they need it, and, you know, I'm kind of just talking about the ones that got guardians and parents that can bring them and take them. The motion's been made, I got a second by Brian, any further discussion?
I would like to see us not let the kids switch classrooms, but let the teachers switch classrooms.
Well, I was questioned by, some teachers sent me a message, Minnie, saying it's better if we allow the students to switch the room.
Well, I got some the other way, so
Yeah,
there you go.
but I think we can work that out. That don't have to be decided.
Well, I think that when you turn them out into the hallways, you're gonna have kids running up and shoving the other one in the back and
Right.
doing the things that kids do, you know,
Sure.
have, being kids.
And I'm
And
hoping.
it might be safer to let the teachers swap rooms.
Well, see,
instead
I
of-
was thinking the way you were thinking, but I was informed by some teachers today that they prefer us to let the students.
Is that, are those teachers in middle school that you're talking about?
No, they're the K through 5.
Okay.
I've not spoke to a middle school teacher about it. These are ones that reached out and said, hey, we're thinking about you.
As a former principal, I've done it both ways.
Yes,
You've got more control if you just let the teachers move.
yeah.
Well, and I would think safety-wise, if you're talking about cleaning desks where somebody's been sitting, are they gonna do that after every single class?
Well,
Yeah,
that's
That's another
good,
issue.
that's a good point. And I think really that decision and that thing. could be-
Right, and I,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Rick, do you mind if I let Christie comment on that a little bit? I know
Well-
she's on the front.
Yeah, can I vote on my plan and then you?
I'll
can?
sit here and be quiet. Yes, sir.
But I tell you what, guys, we're getting into the weeds here. The board leaves that up to our good people and teachers to decide how to do that. You know, and I know we have concerns, and you've heard all different ones here. But to me, I don't wanna get in your business. That's kinda, but we'll talk about it as soon as we do this. Any further discussion on the plan that's on the board? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, pass 7-0. What, Ms. Wallen, Dr. Wallen, do you have something you wanna say about the students switching?
You got 3 seconds.
She's getting out, right? We already.
I can talk to anybody that has a question afterwards and they.
Okay. Well, hey, you can address both cause I was thinking the way they're thinking, the teacher said, no, we like it the other way. Okay, you can, okay, before I get shot by Ms. Trenda here, she's given some things that I need to announce. Okay, the annual convention is November the 12th to the 15th. She's put that on your thing for you to check. Please check, and if you're going and all the other stuff, so that helps Ms. Trenda. The TSBA Board Evaluation, which is an online link, is due by September the 10th. Board assessment, turn in paper copy to board secretary by 9/10. Director's evaluation is due by 9/10. First district meeting is off, but you can do the webinars if you would like to at 5 o'clock. I'm sure we'll all jump on that. The most important thing that I'm sure all the board members are interested in getting you $50, time sheets are due next board meeting on September the 24th. Now, here's the very important one, so it won't make me mad if y'all throw me out, but board, next meeting, the board has to elect the chairman and vice chairman and secretary.
I'm voting Tommy Thomas, Chair.
Me too. And
Me too.
second, and our next regular meeting is on Thursday, September the 24th at 5:30 here. And I wanna thank all central office for all your hard work in helping the board make this important decision. And I know not everybody got everything they want, but I hope some people got pieces of everything.
And Rick, you've said it before too, but especially the teachers and stuff too, because I know that they're having to work double time and do all kinds of extra work to make all this stuff happen. But they're willing to do it, aren't they? I mean, I appreciate them, I really do.
I'm telling you what, these teachers are working their hinds off, and whatever's
It's just gonna
happening,
be-
even
remember that's
comments on
when we
social
usually go
media
to
is
the
not
high
fair.
schools, but they're
These
just gonna do it
teachers are
online.
working hard, I promise you,
Oh, yeah, I'm on.
and they want your kids back in school too. This meeting is adjourned.
Okay, I'm gonna take that with me and I'll bring it to the next board meeting.
I love you.